James, this is also just the last comment. There it goes. Great to have you here. I know you're flat out doing interviews back to back at the minute, and it's just an absolute pleasure to have you on. And thank you for carving out a bit of time for us.
Of course, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Now, we put a big title on this, and the guy who changed my life, and this isn't just clickbait. This wasn't just something to get my audience's attention. Genuinely, you've had a massive impact on my life, on my business, and I wanted this opportunity to really let you hear that story. I'm sure you probably hear this all the time, but for me, this has been such a huge deal that I wanted you to. A chance to honour you and introduce you to other people at the same time.
Beautiful.
Now, obviously we would be introducing you now normally, and I'd be saying, James, let's let people know who you are. But I actually found a video on YouTube that I think it's quite recently been posted up, actually, and I figured we're both video guys, so why don't we play this and you can do your fancy introduction and you can just save your voice for a second. So I'm going to play this. I think it's fantastic. This is James's story.
Hey, James Wedmore here, host of the Mind Your Business podcast, and this is me in 60 seconds. 13 years ago, I leveraged my expensive, fancy schmancy film degree to create a $97 online course teaching people how to make their first YouTube video. And then my life changed forever. In just 3 years, I had created a $2 million a year business, and I was working just a few hours a day and surfing the rest. Then something happened. You see, I had this moment where I realized what was actually causing my business to grow, and it wasn't video. It was the personal growth that I was having around my own mindset, around money, and around applying universal principles. Plus, I noticed I was running my business very differently than most. There was this structure, a simplicity, and a systematic approach that allowed me to step back even more. Well, guess what? I threw the $2 million a year video business away, and I started with a podcast from scratch. I packaged what worked from that business into a unique business philosophy, and along with the step-by-step Lego instruction style manuals, so anyone else could build and run a 7-figure course business the way I did. And people listen. Long story short, I was able to replace that old $2 million a year business revenue in just 1 year, and then scale it to 10 million the next. And most importantly, I've been able to help a lot of people do one thing: build a profitable business by their own design. And now, it's your turn.
Fantastic, James. How does that make you feel sitting watching that?
A little longer than 60 seconds, but...
Well, I actually looked at it and I queued it up and I went, hang on a minute, that's like 152.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have mentioned it if you hadn't have done.
Yeah.
That must feel so cool though, watching that back actually. And I don't know, you put it together, but to just remember that journey and...
It's hard. It's definitely hard to capture. I started in 2007, so
right.
It's been a long time, and it's hard to obviously capture your entire journey.
Yeah.
In that amount of time, but those are the highlights for sure.
Yeah. What's quite cool actually is the reason I found that video is I was looking actually, and just a second because this will be mute. But I was looking on your channel because I thought, and it was only really as I was prepping for this that I really sort of thought, yeah, but you weren't new to me at this point, because I used to watch those videos, and when I was a photographer trying to teach online, and so I kind of jumped back in here and I love to do this on channels and put them in reverse order, and I won't go right back to the bartending ones. But a lot of these videos on here were ones that I was watching that were helping me make my videos, and how cool, you can still see YouTubers remembered the videos that I've watched on here. Was it 11 years ago? So I guess I was probably watching these about 7-9 years ago.
Isn't that I mean, that's crazy. I have a story, Adrian, where I was getting a haircut years ago, and this is years ago when I was like making those videos, And the next guy comes in, and my barber introduced us. He's like, "Oh, this is my, next guy." And the guy goes, "Oh, what do you do?" And like, how do you describe that to people? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, "Oh, I make videos." And he literally looks at me and he goes, "No way, I'm learning how to make video right now." And he had a video of me on his phone, and he was
No.
learning from me. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, dude." He like freaked out, and I'm like, it's so funny. So.
Well, we'll come on to that in a minute about where I'm at right now, but exactly the same thing happened for me here, actually. Somebody kind of suddenly realizing and going, I've watched your videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we preach this to our customers that, YouTube is the place to get seen and found, really discovered. And it, certainly in this case, and it wasn't until I was kind of prepping for this that I thought that's exactly what happened, actually, is, when I see your ad, I already knew you from what I'd seen in these previous videos. So, well, we want to get into a load. I'm really keen to tell you and my audience here, about my story and how you've impacted me as well. Could you just, before we get into that, though, I'd love to just backtrack a little bit to that. The thing that really strikes me, and maybe the thing that's easiest for me to connect with, is this time when you're doing this $97 course. This point where you were starting out, really. And I know, actually, I think this is what you're referring to. You were doing the bartending before this, weren't you?
Yeah.
What is this like at this point? This must have all been very new to you. Are you just going, I can teach people this?
I have, Adrian, like I've always just had a passion for business in general. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always wanted to start a business and as a kid, I was doing lemonade stands and selling used golf balls back to the golfers. And then I found myself right out of college, and I was a bartender. I worked in the service industry. I was a server and a bartender, and I hated it. I was really struggling with it. I was unhappy. So I had the idea to offer my bartending services to people having private parties. And so I had this little business, and I was learning. And then I started seeing that this is what people were doing on the internet. And this is 2007. And it was like love at first sight. I was like, wait, I get to teach people and get paid to help you. And like, that's really, truly, that's why I can still do this today, because it's not for everybody. And I don't want anyone thinking that this is like this is some get rich quick thing. No, this is a purpose driven thing. This is I get to help people and I get paid to help people. And this gets to be your career, And so I was immediately hooked. But dude, I was so young. I was 26 at the time. And I was like, what do I know? What could I teach?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know how to bartend. So my first online course was called Bartend for Profit. And it was just teaching everything I had learned to become a bartender. And people freaking bought it. They bought my online bartending school. And I had my first sale April 18th, 2008, $200. Someone in San Antonio, Texas, bought my program. And it forever changed my life. I was just like, someone wanted to learn from me. This is incredible. And obviously, as time went on, I'm like, I don't really want to be known as the bartender guy. Yeah. And what I realized is everything I was doing to build that business was around video. And yes, I had a film degree. So I'm like, I think I could help people with this. And, people were interested in that, and then that obviously like really took off. And the funny thing is, as you know me today, I don't teach video today. That's I don't really talk about video, but I still use it so much. And
as we've just seen,
piece of my business. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a piece of my business today that is so on the creative front. that so much of what we do has this like creative, fun, video marketing aspect to it. And yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, it doesn't get old. So,
But I think you've probably answered really. I was going to say, I'm hearing you saying you're getting to 2 million a year with this life of surfing and working a few hours. Why stop? But I guess this is what you're saying. It's this passion to teach, is it? That help people.
Yeah, it's the same. It was the same thing. Like, so I'm helping people and I'm getting paid, and what started happening for me, and this is my own thing, and this doesn't mean that's going to happen to anybody else, but I was just putting these courses out there, and I had like two. I had a membership for $50 a month, and I had 1,500 people paying me $50 a month. So you can do the math on that.
Yeah.
And then I was selling this $97 course called Video Traffic Academy, and I started having this like weird feeling, like it wasn't enough. I could do more. And really what happened, I just told this story yesterday, but the short version of the story is I had a friend come out and visit me, and she was like really having a hard time in her business. And I was living in Laguna Beach, my hometown, Laguna Beach, California. And I had a little studio. I was like, just stay in the studio. And she stayed there for about a week, and about 4 or 5 days into her stay, she finally like pulls me aside and she's like, what do you do? Like, how are you doing this? Because I haven't seen you work this entire time, and I'm working my butt off. And she was making about $200K a year, and which is great, but she was working nonstop. Yeah. And here I was with this $2 million business. And she goes, can I hire you? Can you help me? And I was like, I'm just the video guy. Like, what? I don't know. But I said, sure, of course, I'd love to help you. And long story short, we made some changes to her business. And I get a phone call from her in the next month, like a month later. And she's in tears because she made $200,000 that month. And she went on to do over $1 million in sales that year. And that's when I had this thought of like, maybe it's time for me to help people doing this.
Yeah.
And that was way back in 2014, 2015. I never looked back. So there was just a deeper calling. There was like a desire to help people more. And so I had to really pivot away from that. And I just never looked back. So
fantastic. Well, I'm very grateful that you did and you didn't stick there, because I would have been a lousy bartender, so that wouldn't have been any use for me.
I love it.
I'd love to show you, James. I was again, for those watching as well, just really the impact you've had, and a bit like what I've just done showing your video. If you remember, a couple of years ago, I entered a competition to get a day with yourself and put a testimonial video in, and I figured actually that might be a nice way to do this. So this is a 3-minute video, but actually it would take me longer to say this otherwise anyway. So I'm just going to run this for 3 minutes, and then I'd love to come back and just have a quick chat about it if we can. My eyes were open to this idea of an online business back in 2012 when I heard a podcast talking about making money while you sleep, and I was hooked. Up to that point, I'd been a professional photographer running my own business. So over the next few years, I read books, I listened to podcasts, I dabbled in all kinds of crazy online business ideas, and it was a disaster. And nobody around me got it or understood what I was trying to do. They all thought I was nuts, I reckon. So finally, as a photographer, it made sense to me to create an online course to help people get started with an SLR camera. So I built this online course that I was really proud of, launched it, and nobody came. At a point of giving up, I saw an ad for Business by Design. And I can picture this clip now. James was walking across a field in the video, talking to the camera, but speaking directly to me. He said about people who launch a course expecting it to sell and nothing. Just crickets. I was literally in tears. Here was someone finally who got me. I remember asking my wife to sit down and watch this with me. I said, could we take out a loan for £10,000 so I could buy Business by Design and switch off from the photography work for a few months so I could really invest in this? Well, getting to know the fantastic community, I had guys say, you look amazing. If you had a course showing us how to do this, I'd buy it. So I took the bold decision to shelve my photography course and follow the request from the group and launch my Pro Video Academy. I'd love to say it was an instant success, but I'd be lying. It's a longer road than any of us anticipated. A huge milestone for me was BBD Live. Being in a room of incredible entrepreneurs who were either where I wanted to be or at least shared the same passion was huge. What no one knew at that time was that I couldn't even really afford to fly out there. But I knew this would be a significant chapter, and it was. While COVID brought destruction to many people's businesses, for us, it was incredible. We were training people to live stream and look professional on camera at a time when everybody got forced online. We went from being 50,000 in debt in January 2020 to earning 500,000 during the following 2 years. What a whirlwind. As I look back now at the notes from BBD, I found that early section where I was encouraged to picture myself in 5 years' time. I wrote, I'll feel successful, happy, proud. In bold letters I put in control, not needing to chase work, proving people wrong, and this one got me, not useless or not a failure. It chokes me up looking back at this as I can remember how desperate I felt, but what a sense of relief knowing that I've ticked off all of those things on there. James, I can never thank you enough, not only for Business by Design, but for giving me the permission to believe that I could ever do this. Thank you so much. So James, there's my kind of story back really, and yeah, so, some gaps and things in there, and I know I haven't made it as easy as I should have made it, but yeah, so thankful for this. And there's a point in this that when it was Jen's listening, I think, isn't she? I was working through with Jen when she was just helping me out, sort of craft out this story, and there were a couple of bits we couldn't fit it in to the timing of the video, but. This thing around the whole £10,000 that we were to me, and I wanted to be able to pay for Business by Design, but to be able to have enough money there to be able to shut off for a couple of months without the pressure of doing the photography, and that was the plan. And that was a huge deal for me to be asking Rach to do that. We'd never done anything like that before, and I'd never invested in myself, in the business. This was just all in my head, and watching a few people online, nobody around me understood all this stuff. So it was a big deal, and Rachel agreeing to this was a real answer to prayer to start with. It's kind of me testing this, going, all right, well, if Rachel agrees to this, I'm going to believe this. And then this is where it's cool, because the next morning I was out walking the dog. My mum texted me and said, check your bank account. So I had a look at this, and they'd put £10,000 into my bank. And I had said nothing to them about this. I called my mum up and I said, Mum, what is this? And she said, Dad's woken the last couple of nights, and he said he's really felt, Christian as well, really felt God had said to him to support us in our business. And so they'd put £10,000 in our bank. I was like, what a huge green light for me to just know that I was on the right path. And this was, and just to, I don't know how you, where that fits with you. And I know, with the spiritual side of things really, but to me, like when these things were just aligning like this, and a huge barrier that there could have been when that came down, was massive for me.
Yeah. And you had that perception, that awareness to see that.
Yeah.
Right. As not just like, oh, maybe that's just a coincidence.
Yeah.
But it's like you're paying attention, and it's like my heart is telling me to go in this direction. Everything around me is telling me, and you trusted that. And the thing that, like, no one wants to, like, all the haters and skeptics like don't understand, which is totally fine, is like we're the crazy ones. Like the whole concept of starting your own business and being an entrepreneur is seeing something that nobody else can see.
Yeah.
And so it takes you having this tremendous amount of faith, tremendous amount of courage to be able to say, I'm going to create something that isn't out there. And everyone else around you doesn't see it. So they, you know, unless they love you and support you unconditionally, they're like, are you nuts? Like what?
I know.
And that's when I was the same thing. Like everyone just laughed at me or just thought I was cuckoo. But there's just something inside of you. If you know, and you're like, but this is what I want to do. So I'm going to do it. And then you get started and it's like, yeah, it's this rite of passage. It's not like getting a job where you start getting a paycheck next week.
Yeah.
Like you got to put in the freaking work to make it happen. And,
I got it with his friends saying to me, so how are you getting on? How's it going? And I'm like, yeah. I'm sure they're all laughing behind my back going, he's lost it. In fact, my brother, I spoke to my brother a couple of years ago about this, and he said, I'll admit I was going, this will never work. You know, I wouldn't have said it to you, but I'm quietly going, no, we'll be doing this photography soon. And I could sense this from everybody, you know, but there is this, like this tenacity again. There's something here and I can feel it and I just know this is right for me. Thankfully, Rach has been, you know, supported me and could see, you know, trusted and believed in me. But it's lovely to see it kind of, and I think this is a, you know, because I could have ended up going back and being a photographer if this hadn't have worked out. You know, that was really the story. And and I don't know how this works really. I was going slightly off on a tangent here, but I'm thinking, would that have happened, or is there this something inside you that this is going? It's almost inevitable. You are going to get there, and I don't know how that sits with you.
Adrian, you're getting all philosophical with me, which I always love. You know, and those are the questions. Is like, listen. Here's what I know to be true, okay? Whether people are there or not, that's fine. When you have that feeling that you're describing, when it's like, I just know, then it means it is inevitable. Like it absolutely exists as a possibility. If the desire was born within you and it's you want it, not your parents, not society, not your neighbors, not your brother-in-law, you want it. It absolutely, like, we don't need to doubt it. It's possible. And we have free will, which means you could choose to stop. And that's the beauty, is that you probably had all these experiences where it would have been easy to quit. It would have been easy to throw in the towel. And you sat there and you chose to keep going. You, from your own free will and volition, said, I'm going to keep going, even though this is tough right now, even though this is going into the unknown. And then here we go. And here we are on the other side of it. So I don't know. I really, all I can say for myself, Adrian, is that when I was in that phase in my career, if I would have said no and given up, I would be very unhappy today. I think I would be very unfulfilled and felt like something was missing. And I don't know if this is you, but for me, the work I'm doing, like the fact that we get to just talk to a group of people today, and like this is my work day. I now, like, when you get started, how true is it that when you get started, it's like, I need to get there. I need to be over here. I need to make this. And however, what's most important, because it's our short, precious life, is that you're still loving the journey. And when you know, people won't really hear this because it's like, yeah, but I want the money too. But when you love the work that you're doing, then you don't need to like get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And And that's what's so beautiful about this. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I was only talking to somebody earlier today about retirement because, well, I'll come on to this in a second, but people all around me that are retired, and I've said to Rach, I don't want to retire. I love what I do. There are folk around that are counting down the years till they can stop work, and I don't know what to do, what the plan is after that, really. But I've said to Rach, that'd kill me. I love this. And
I think that's the goal. I think that's the goal, is to find something that you love so much that you wouldn't want to retire, because it is you. You enjoy it. It makes you feel alive. It gives you purpose and fulfillment.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm still doing this after 17 years. Like I love it. So it's really fun for me.
Well, here's one of the little surprise for you that I spotted on that bit of paper that I found when I was doing that exercise. So that exercise, am I right that it was? I'm trying to remember. It was right at the start of BBD. It was back in 2017. So, but the exercise was was it 5 years ahead? We were looking and planning this. Kind of at the end of a
launch. Sounds right. I mean, that was a while back, but I'm
because I don't think it's in the current BBD. So I tried to go back and find it, and I don't think it's the same. But it was this, put down what would it be like to be there, and so I'd written down all these things about how it would feel. But something else that I'd found that I wrote down on here is this. So this is this bit of paper, and so 27th of May 2017, my goal and dream, home in Cyprus. So I'd skirted over this, and when I looked at it, it was only more recently, and then I'd put sitting poolside, working on my next course, because I think the exercise was to, what's it like the next morning? You've just had this big launch, you've hit your goals, and I put there, that's my idea of success and my goal. James, this was me 2 days ago, sitting outside our house in Cyprus. That's not all our house. It's a complex that we're on. But I'm like, it totally, I'd forgotten that I'd done this and written all this down. But here we are. And actually right now I'm in this co-working office space here in Polis in Cyprus. And I just gives me goosebumps. I'm like, I'd forgotten that I'd set that as an intention, really, and a goal. And at that point, I was looking, saying, what would this look like? What does success look like? And we've been dreaming about a holiday home. And so, yeah, pretty cool,
That's
right?
So beautiful, man. Like I so much I want to say, but like,
go for it.
The thing is like the power of, directing your mind and having an intention and envisioning a better life. Like most people scoff at that and they don't do that. And that was something I took on very early in my life, and it changed my life. The caveat, the big rub, as you kind of are indirectly pointing out, is massive changes in the direction of your life and the quality of your life rarely happen overnight. And so it takes time. Like it just like, that's just the reality, is it takes time. And it's so, today, obviously we're in a culture where everyone wants things now, right now. And it's like, man, you put in the work with patience and consistency. And it's like a couple years go by and it's like, holy cow, I'm there. I did it, and that's just so awesome, dude. So congratulations.
Thank you. I said to Rach when I was looking at this, I said, James will like this, because this is the kind of stuff you're teaching us to do, and set those visions, set those intentions. I'll have to change it after I say this, but the login for my laptop is actually Cyprus. I've all the time been just kind of going, it's there in front of me, and my screensaver was a house in Cyprus for a long time, and so yeah, we're kind of out here now. We're sort of visiting a month at a time, and I feel like we're living the dream. This is, like I say, I don't want to retire. I enjoy doing this. I come and work some days. I go diving other days and chill out around the house, do stuff with Rach, and So thank you,
beautiful.
because I'm now getting to live my dream. My family, thank you. My audience that are on here, thank you. You know, none of this would have happened without meeting you. And so, yeah, that's kind of me. Yeah, I wanted to give back really and just say, you know, really appreciate. And I know you hear this all the day. I imagine you get a lot of stories like this, but to me and to everybody on the other end of it, this is such a big deal to us. So, yeah, huge thank you for everything that you've done.
I know, and it is I do hear it more than, you know, once, which is what I live for, and it means a lot to me because, like I said, that's why you asked me, why'd you kind of throw that old business away? And it's like, because instead of that, I could help someone do this, you know? And, that really, you know, really does drive me. And it's really exciting. And I love working with those people that are like, I want that. I want to be able to make a difference in someone's life. And I think that's the opportunity here, which is really exciting. So.
Did you ever foresee what this is now when you were sort of shifting out of that YouTuber, coming into coaching and helping?
No, it exceeded. I mean, I caught up with it, but it initially, when I had the idea, exceeded all of my dreams. In fact, one of the BBD lives before you attended, there was 40 of us in a room. And a person came to me at the event and they said, I told 5 other people to come to this event because I said, hurry up and come now before this event gets huge and blows up. And they're telling this to me. And I'm going, it is? Like what? Like it's going to blow up. And our last BBD live had 955 registered.
Yes.
And
it was a fantastic event.
And you're just like, wow. So,
Linda's actually just popped in here on the that's not worked right, but Linda just commented in here actually.
Linda, said, that's so kind of you.
Best event ever attended. Actually, anybody else has been to BBD, in BBD, or been helped by James? Just pop it in the chat. That'd be really cool to see. For sure. Now, James, I need to make a bit of a confession because sticking to one thing that I know you're very passionate about, and I hear you telling people off all the time for it, I struggle with it. But I have, I'm giving myself a bit of grace actually from hearing you, because I'm going, okay, I can see this transition or this journey that you've gone through. And because I look back and I say, and it isn't because, I can remember listening to one of your podcasts. I can actually remember where I was when I heard it, when I was walking. And you were saying about a lady who'd got this business, and it was all, you looked at all these different things she'd got going on, and you actually said to her, strip it all out and just go for one thing. I struggle with that because I've got a lot of them that are working and are successful, and I'm thinking, and it actually made me pull back a bit from you, because I'm thinking, I'm not doing what he's telling me to do, and it's like a shame on genuinely. Like I'm thinking, he wouldn't be happy if he knew what I was doing, and but it comes not out of a place of getting bored or thinking this isn't working, I'm going to move on to that one. It's like you were saying, this is all coming out of people asking me for help. You know, I mentioned in that, or hinted in that story there, I joined BBD with, like you said, bartending. I was a photographer, and I was always helping. There were people always coming to me asking for settings on cameras and things. So I created a photography course. People asked me, how do you look professional on video? So I taught them how, these were the guys that were in BBD to start with, that I pivoted because of this. People ask me about eCam, which is what we're using here. So I created a course that adds on, and I help them with that. I know that most of our customers find us on YouTube, so I have a training on how to do that. And then people go, how do you do a course like this? So I teach them Kajabi, and before I know it, I've got all of these little businesses. And I hear you say, knock them all back and go with one. And I think, I can't. So I need some permission from you to say this is okay. And
Well, look, let me say a couple of things. First off, you could put it all into one membership, and it's full of mini courses, right? You know what I mean? There's a
Yes.
workaround that still fits. But here's the thing: the reason I say that is because people like you and I, we love to create and we love to help. And so we're always saying yes. And
Yeah.
more offers, and more products creates more work for us. And so that's fine. It's not like it's wrong or bad. It's just like you've realized it's like, wow, when I created that course, then I had to create another sales page, another checkout page, another members area, and then I needed to update it every 6 months. So it's creating more work for us. And so we just have to go, is that the work that I want to do? And if so, that's great. But most people, are familiar with the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. But most creators are spending 80% of their time creating and only 20% of their time selling, promoting, and marketing. Right. And when we do that, we're not tapping into as much, sales and customers we could. So here's something I've been saying recently that I think will really help people. What we have to understand is I'm going to say two things. First of all, there's at the bare minimum, we can say that there's two phases in a business. There's obviously more, but there's two very important phases. There's the building of the business, and then there's the running of the business. It's just like if you built a car and drove a car. When you're building a car, you can't drive it, right? When you're building a business, you can't get very far with it. It's not going to make you a lot of money. It's that startup phase where it's like, I'm still trying to get this going. So unfortunately, people stay in that building phase too long. And they go back to the drawing board and they're like, let me build it again. Let me build something different. And they're creating. So most people start a business. Most people say, I want to be in business because there's something they want for themselves that they do not have in their life. And a lot of times it's the F word, freedom, right? Financial freedom, location freedom, and that's so beautiful. And I want that for people. I mean, I truly see still today in 2024, there's so much freaking opportunity, and the digital product, like teaching courses, selling courses, is the most profitable, it's the most scalable, and obviously it's the most fulfilling. So here's what I really want people to get and write this down, because this is a business principle. All of the things that you want, the freedom, the money, the abundance, whatever it is that you want, is all on the other side of what you haven't replicated yet in your business. So if we are constantly creating something new, then we're using your creative life force. And that takes the most energy outpouring. You pour your heart and soul into something, and then you go and you do it again. And that's tiring. But when we can get into a routine of do it again, okay, do it again, repeat it. Writing an article is 1,000 times more work than copying and pasting the article you wrote yesterday, right? And that's what I'm talking about. So here's the crazy phenomenon. So Adrian's sharing these dates, like 2017, right? I started my program. I'm practicing what I preach. I started it in 2016. And I relaunch it, repeat it, rinse and put it back out there again and again and again. And every single year, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better. And it continues to take less and less work. The financial freedom, the time freedom, everything that you want out of business is on the other side of what we haven't replicated. Do it again, do it again, do it again. And so that's the principle. Now, if you go and I want to create all this, it's like, that's totally fine, because you still see me do it. I still create other products. I just temper that a little bit. You know what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense.
And
that's okay.
If I'm honest, it is an excuse. I would rather be building a course than trying to sell something. And I think that's true with, I heard you say this actually, In fact, I've got this audio clip of this actually, that it was a podcast you and Jen did. I heard it in December. That was, what was it? Spiritual. You listed off a whole, was it 40 things you did? Or let me just play this a second, because this bit really resonated. I listened to this and it made such an impact on me. I kind of stopped and did a quick screen recording of it so I'd remember it. Okay. But I'd like to just play this back really with and let you take it.
If you were to ask me today, it's so easy. It's so simple. James, what's your dharma? What's your purpose? It's easy. It's so clear to me. I'm here to help the people that are here to help others. I love helping the helpers. The common theme that I keep seeing is the people that can help the most are unheard the most. They're the ones that are the worst marketers. They're the most humble, so they're the most quiet, and they're the least braggadocious, right? And these are the ones that people need the most. Whereas since I've been in this space for 16 years, the people that tend to get the sales, the success, and the whatevers are the marketers. And a lot of the marketers, their gifts is marketing, not delivering on what they're marketing. So they're really good at getting a sale and whatever. And I just dedicated my life to be really damn good at both. I wanted to be a really great marketer. I wanted to be really great at communication and sales and copy. And I wanted to make sure that anybody that wants to come to my world, we're going to deliver and make a difference, solve the problem, make the change, teach. And so I love helping the helpers because they need it on both fronts. They need, how do I package this in a way that people will want it and give money for it? Right. But also, how is it delivered as an experience in a way where people say, this helped me and I would buy this again and again and again.
That was so releasing to me to go, it's not just me. This is a thing that, you know, and I would like to, you know, I get a lot of praise from people that, you know, my training's great, and it's it's easier for me to go, I can just make something else because I know I'm good at that, but the marketing, I don't like that. It's really pushing me out of my comfort zone. Or it's learning new things, isn't it? It's
also, you know, Adrian, it's like, because this is probably something that you deal with as you grow, right? It's like a new challenge at every level. And it's like, you've built a community, you've built this loyal audience of people that have gotten to know you and your heart, and they can feel where your heart is, and they get tremendous value from your stuff. And now it's like, okay, so I've gotten these people in here. If I wanted to get more customers now, I got to go out and put it in front of more strangers. Yeah. People that haven't gotten to know me.
Yes.
People that I haven't built a brand and relationship with.
I just want to hang out with my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Just do it with my friends, like the people that I know like me. Like, and you know, and I had to do that too, man. Like I listen, I struggled with that tremendously. I had a really hard time putting myself out there, and especially in front of older audiences. And you know, look, I had a year where the business went from 280K in US dollars to 1.2 million. I don't know I'm sure you've heard this story. And in 1 year, 280K to 1.2 million. So that's like 4 or 5X. Like, that's crazy. And when people go, how'd you do it? They hate my answer. My answer is just too simple for them. And they want there must have been some secret strategy that you find. No. Here's what happened. I had an epiphany in my life. And we have these moments in our life where maybe it's in a journaling exercise. Maybe it's on a walk. Maybe it's, you know, when your parents call you and say, check your bank account, where you have this thought, you have this moment, and life is never the same after that. And here's what happened. I had this reflective moment where I could see everything that I was doing in my business was just to get people to like me. And I was just trying to be everyone's friend. I was just trying to be the nice guy. And you've heard me say this phrase, what got you here won't get you there. So getting everybody to like me, being the likable guy, got me to 280K. But if I wanted to keep growing, I couldn't make my modus operandi like me, be my friend. Because then everything I wanted to say, everybody had to agree with, which means in order to get everybody on the internet to agree with you, it's got to be pretty boring, bland, and vanilla, right? So I had this moment where I said, what's more important to me? Being liked or being of service?
Yeah.
choosing a positive perception of you, or in the eyes of others, or being of service and making a difference and helping people.
Mm.
And I chose, I know it sounds cliche, but I chose, I'm just going to focus on helping people. And it was really simple. I said, I don't need you to like me for me to help you. I don't need you to have a positive opinion of me
Mm.
in order for me to provide value to you. And I don't really,
Yeah.
I was like, why do I care about that? And as soon as I did that, it was like a filter got removed, and I could just share what I needed to share that would make a difference for people. And it was like my content got bolder. I got louder. I found myself promoting myself more,
Yeah.
doing the same things, and I'm getting more sales, and the business just.
I was going to say that's going to add to that when you know that, when you can see the evidence of it, and the sales are going up. Okay, this is right. I'm going to keep at this.
Right.
And
yeah, and you know,
fantastic.
you get into this world, you're going to have people that are going to, be a hater on a Facebook ad or in your Instagram.
Yeah.
Like that's just inevitable. It's unavoidable, and it's like you don't have to give your power away to that. And people are going to think what they're going to think, but if you're helping people, it's worth it.
Yeah, fantastic. Ratchness just said, actually, this just leads me. I was going to say, we haven't really looked at the chat. Guys, if you got questions for James, I'm hoping we're all right for another 10 minutes. Fire away if you got any questions in the chat here. But Ratchness just put here, this is the most powerful thing I've heard in a while. Love that. Linda's just saying,
Karen said Karen joined BBD last June, and her painting membership went from 50 to 500 members. Let's go.
Fantastic, Karen. I love that. Yep, this is amazing. So motivating to hear. Yep. Kicking habits. This is Mitch, I think, isn't it, Mitch? Yeah, I love that. Rob's saying the same thing. I think that's a huge shift to be able to do that. And as I say, I think to if numbers had gone down, you'd have been going, oh, okay, maybe this isn't right. But the fact that it's kind of is backing it up as well. I love that. Yeah. Please tell me a bit more about the BBD program. Absolutely, Ratchet. It's almost like we've just planned this. Actually, James.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a minute about Rise of the Digital CEO then. Sure. So this is BBD is the program. We've been talking about this here. Yeah. This is the paid course at the end of it, but you've got a free program coming up, haven't you? A three-day workshop.
So I'll keep it really simple. So the way I designed Business by Design is it's not really a course. We give our students, when you join, you get these step-by-step, what we call like Lego style instruction manuals. And they are execution guides for every piece of your business, from building, your web pages and your funnels and your launches, to like how to deploy surveys, how to create your content. Because we found something really simple that changed my business, which is the more structure you have in your business, the more freedom you get, right?
Yep.
So if you're kind of running around without an instruction manual, it's really hard to know if you're doing things the right way. And so because we designed the program that way, to be like, here's, if you want, it's just like, here's the checklist. Like these are just, if you can follow directions, you can do this. So because we designed the program that way, there's no holding back on my free training. We basically, you attend, it's 3 different trainings over a course of a week. And I basically show you the whole thing. I mean, it's like, this is how every year we're doing 8 figures a year with digital products. This is how simple it can be. Doesn't mean it's easy. Simple and easy are 2 different words, right? But let's make it simple. Here it is. I really just like pop open the hood and show you, this is how we run the business. And I walk you through the whole thing. But, whether someone's just starting out or whether they've been doing this for a while, the biggest thing is there's a unique thing we do that I guess the best way we could describe it is like you get to really have a diagnostic of your business. And, I heard a stat years ago, and I still hear similar stats that echo this, is 8 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 18 months. And the number one reason why businesses fail is because they can't get to revenue or profit in that time. And so they give up. And when I do a deeper dive into businesses, it's usually because they're missing something. Like, it's not because you're a loser, it's not because no one likes you. It's not because you're too old or you're too young or you're not pretty enough. These are the stories that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, it's like, oh, you're just not doing this. You forgot this piece. And it's like, if you started building a car and you forgot to put the carburetor in, doesn't matter how good the car looks, it ain't going to run. And so the whole process is like, the training takes you through a process to really see what pieces have you left out or that you're doing wrong. And when you look at that, so much clarity emerges. And you're like, I know exactly what I'm missing. I know exactly what I need to do. And that's just where I stand. And that's what I'll die on that hill, is everyone who wants to do this, your success, if you want to do it, your success is inevitable, but your business has needs.
Yeah.
And if you don't give your business what it needs, it ain't going to give you what you want out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's
I like
what we
that
go
analogy.
To work.
That analogy with the car really as well, like you're saying, missing a carburetor or something, and you're going, the car doesn't work because you don't know what it is, and it's going to the mechanic who does understand it, or a manual
and he's like, oh, you forgot to put a carburetor in, here you go, and now you're off and running,
Yeah.
And it can be as simple as that. Like, it really can be. So that gets really exciting.
Fantastic. There's a question here, James, from Mitch, just saying, can James please talk a bit more about procrastination, the concern of doing something, and how that leads to more, bigger, better action? That's sort of the concept of doing.
I can talk about procrastination in a different sense. So what is happening with procrastination, and we're going to approach this from like, what is the symptom, like what's causing this, and then like the antidote. So we're going to define procrastination as, I have written down, or I've decided this is what I need to do, and then we don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. I'll do it the next day. Now, what causes that? I'll tell you, and it really is 100% of the time. Maybe there's exceptions. Like if you're tired, that's fine. Everyone gets tired. You're like, you know what? It's been a long day. Okay. But if you notice a pattern of procrastination, here's what's happening. The action item that you are hesitating and procrastinating is threatening something within you. It is outside of your comfort zone, or it threatens something. Like, if I do this, then that. So it's something uncomfortable. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here's the good news, bad news. If I took your entire to-do list and I said, just everything that you need to get done, everything you want to do, like, let's put it down on to-do list. And it's just for your business, not like taking out the trash or doing the dishes. I can guarantee you that only 5% of those activities actually will make you money or grow your business. So unfortunately, most of the things that we do in our business, most of the to-dos, don't really generate revenue or grow the business.
Yeah.
And those 5% activities, so this is the good news part. The 5% activities in the business are the things that grow the business. The good news is they don't take as much time as those other activities. Oftentimes, they don't take much time at all. Here's the bad news. They exist outside your comfort zone. So as long as they exist outside your comfort zone, as long as they are threatening to your identity, to your beliefs, they bring up fears where I could be exposed. I could be seen by more people. If I do this, then more eyeballs, more opinions, more rejection, more this. then we will go back to the busy items.
Yeah.
And
Where we feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's what's the answer? What's you had an epiphany of not wanting to, not being bothered about people and pushing yourself out there. Because I can relate to this as much as Mitch is really this. And as you're speaking, I'm saying, I can actually see this is what I'm doing here, and I'm comfortable here, and I'm busy. I haven't got time to. Yeah.
So there's two. I'm going to give two antidotes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give two antidotes in a nutshell. The first is if that's the case, if you can try on what I'm saying, then the moment you catch yourself, I am procrastinating.
Yeah.
Then you want to pause and you want to look at that and say, what am I worried will happen when I do this? What is it that I'm really concerned about? There's a part of me that doesn't want me to do this. Why?
Yeah.
And then that's going to send you on a little bit of a journey right there. But there's the other piece of this that I think is really, really powerful. And I'm going to try to say this as short as I can. And that is the power of your word. When you recognize, especially the moment you work for yourself, this has to be like your number one superpower, is you must practice and get in the habit of being your word, which is what I say, I do. I am my word, because your word is powerful, because you are powerful, because you are your word. So when you are your word, you are powerful. And so if I put something down on a to-do list, I am saying, I am giving my word to myself that I am doing this. Therefore, I must. And every time that you say what you said you were, or you do what you said you were going to do, you have a sense of more power in your life. And every time you don't do something that you said you were going to do, you feel a loss of power. And so the most important thing we can do is be so mindful of, if I say it, I do it. I am my word. And that's integrity. That's self-integrity.
Yeah.
And when you practice that as a discipline, it's really hard. That's very simple. It's the most simple thing you'll hear all day. But damn, is that it's so hard.
Yeah.
But it changes everything.
That's fantastic. That makes so much sense. I feel like I'm in therapy. And I know that Rachel, who's sitting outside here, is going to be holding me to this now. She'll be going, James said, if you said it, you got to do this. She's laughing. Yeah, she's.
So here's the thing, Adrian.
I need to stop the live now and delete this last bit.
Yeah. But listen, this is so important that there's companies that did studies on this, and they what they did is they went into the organization and they measured promises made and promises kept amongst the organization, and they found anywhere, this is freaking mind-blowing, anywhere from a 300 to a 600% increase in output and productivity, simply because they improved their ability to make a promise and keep it.
Really?
And they didn't put any more input. Like, when you are your word, you are freaking unstoppable. And it's just proven, it's just, jury's out. So,
Fantastic. Owen, this is my son Owen, who's popped in here as well. Yep, clipping that.
That's awesome.
Actually, Owen is so good at it. Like, we've been back through, when Owen joined my business 2.5 years ago, we went back through BBD again, and I loved it. We applied what we'd done. And Owen's the one who's saying to me, we need to just focus on one thing. And I'm my 20-year-old is wiser and is the one on the phone to me. In fact, he was on a call with me yesterday and he's kind of talking me down off something. And I'm going, this is supposed to be the other way around. I'm your dad. I'm supposed to be telling you this. I got this wise young man.
But I don't know, man. These young kids are way smarter than all of us, man. Let me tell you.
But we are doing that, and I have so he'll be loving this, because I have said to him, right, we are going down one route for the rest of this year now with one of our products. So he'll be like, this is why both, in my mind, I know both of these will be sitting going, right, we're going to hold him to this now, because I'm terrible for, like, they come out in the morning and the whiteboard's covered with this new thing that we're going to do.
Yeah, so, I know.
I love this,
you
James.
Balance it, you know?
Yeah. And I guess we are creatives and entrepreneurs. This is, I guess you just got to channel it into make the selling and the marketing the fun bit that you're playing with. And
bingo.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Yeah. James, thank you so much. I hope everybody has enjoyed this as much as I have. And this is very much why I wanted to bring you on here. And when I had the opportunity to be able to put you in front of my audience, really, because I know they will love you as much as I do. And so I really encourage people to come over. There's a link in here as well, adriansalisbury.com/rise. This is your page. So head over here. You'll see some testimonials and get yourself signed up. I think I've watched this every year, and I come out with new things every time I watch it. I can't recommend this enough. So, guys, don't miss out on this. Come and join James for this training. And if you want to know more and you want to follow up and come and join Business by Design, James will explain all of that inside there. And it'll be a very natural step for you if you're interested. James, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Adrian. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I have. And yeah, we're back in. We're kind of, and I know every time that things have gone slower, quieter, it's me that's kind of lost my way a bit. And I think actually it's this almost like this sat nav thing, really, of bringing yourself back. And so I said to Owen, once this next couple of days are over, we're getting back in. I want to, with this, it's not a new product. It's just one of the ones that we've got that we're just raising. And we want to go back through part of BBD and looking at this irresistible offer again. And so, yeah, this isn't just a one-off thing, is it? You know, we've got all this material in here. We can head back in.
And I'm updating it constantly. So we're adding new processes this year, and I'm updating some other ones to add some new pieces to it. So always exciting.
Amazing. You know? Fantastic. So yeah, James, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being on for this. Thank you to everybody. And come and join us over and see James in action in Rise. Okay. So thank you so much. We'll leave it there and wish you all a great day. See ya.
Take care, everyone.